Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. What is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I be. Good Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again. You already know, ladies and gentlemen, instant classic in the making. If this is your first time to the Dr. Mike TV channel, please feel free to subscribe and notify and do all the good things to make yourself well versed in the good dots content. All my good stuff shall be listed in the link in the description area below. Official time check, ladies and gentlemen, 8:30 in the PM Eastern Standard Time, which makes it about 7:30 Central, which makes it about 5:30 for everybody repping that West Coast. And of course, 8:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time, wherever you guys are reporting in the world today. Excuse me. And thank you guys for joining the Good Doc on what is poised to be a very, very interesting show of sorts. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump headfirst into this one, right? Foreigners. This is the question that I ask to you. Foreigners, in general, gentlemen who travel abroad, gentlemen who are choosing to date abroad, right? How much are you willing to send and spend on your newly minted married Filipino family? How much are you willing to send and or spend on your newly minted Filipino family? This is for gentlemen who choose to engage in long relationships with their significant others, potentially leading to marriage and or the idea of taking care of the Filipinas family when you guys get together. Now, this is not the first time that this particular topic of content has been discussed, or is it the first time that I myself have brought this up in a matter of conversation? But gentlemen, I do believe that it is important to understand that there is and could potentially be a high percentage chance that you may, in one way or another, be responsible for some, not all, but some financial help to your married Filipino family. Earlier today, I dropped a video. Hope you guys liked it, about the young lady who was from Vietnam. I assume she was making, some decent wage for herself here in the United States, and she kind of got disowned by her family, based off of the fact that she refused to furnish and or, support the lavish lifestyle of her sister. By lavish, I mean spending a lot of money on bars, clubs, clothes, and of course, places like Uber Eats, right? And it was starting to get the better of her, it brought her to tears, man. It is kind of sad to see a person feel as though she is neglected by her family simply because she refuses to be the support of the lavish lifestyle of her younger sister, supporting her way through college, probably paying the tuition and giving her an allowance and all of that stuff just to take care of her while she's in the United States. That could be a lot of a burden for anybody to take on. Now, let's alleviate ourselves from the situation of it being you taking, let's say, a young Asian lady taking care of a sister or a sibling or whatever, and let's focus on the idea of you being the foreigner taking care of your Filipino family. Now, there are a lot of guys who would be like, nah, man, I ain't gonna do that. She gotta do it herself. She gonna make her own money. She can say whatever she wants to. And you may have that particular standpoint. But I do believe that there are a certain group of men out there that aren't against the idea of sending money home if you bring a Filipino to the United States, or opposed to the fact of, sending allowances, making an allowance for their Filipino and also an allowance for the family. So the way that I'm coming at this particular type of conversation, I want to know how many of you guys, A, are comfortable with it or are actually doing it now, and B, what do you think is a suitable amount of money to send, I would say, on a monthly basis to the family? For anybody who catches this on the replay, that is what I want you guys to put in the comment section below. Because again, everybody's numbers are going to be different. Okay. The same number that I would, if I were to participate in the same situation, would probably not be the same amount of money that a lot of you guys would send to a Filipinous family or your significant other's family if you choose to bring them abroad, or even if you choose to live in the Philippines and, just be with her there. Everybody's numbers are going to be different, right? It may be, if they ask, I'm willing to help. It may be, well, I know they're going to continue to ask, and in order to put a top line on how much they ask, this is what I'm going to agree to. Now, I will say this: if you choose to agree to something that will be given on a monthly basis, ladies and gentlemen, please believe that that family is going to have an expectation that that money is going to be sent every single month, barring any situation that's happening. All right. Don't matter what's going on in your life personally. Doesn't matter what's going on in their life personally. If you say you're going to send $200 at the first of every month, ladies and gentlemen, they're expecting a little 10K, $200 at the top of every month, regardless of what's going on in your life. And I do believe that that somewhat creates a crutch to a lot of people and a lot of families, right? Granted, to an extent, depending on who you're talking to, $200 is not a grandiose amount of money, right? It's not to the point where you're really hurting your pockets, but you have to understand that regardless of what's going on in your life, that 200 may be beneficial to them in the moment, but to what extent are you willing to continuously give that money to them regardless of what's going on in your life or in their life, whether that money be used to support somebody going to college or bills in the house or whatever it may be. How comfortable are you guys with the idea of sending money or giving money to your newly minted Filipino family, right? Because you're going to answer that question. You're going to have to at least have that conversation with your significant other, because if you do not, there could be some issues that will arise. And the issues will clearly arise based off of the fact that you know that a lot of Filipinos are very, very family oriented. Speaking of the young lady in the video, she was very heartbroken about the idea of losing, some or having a falling out of sorts with her family over the fact that her sister was being a little bougie biatch. She felt the way because probably her family made her feel that way. And, the close, tight-knit community that most Asian families have with one another, it's going to be hard for you to sit there and dictate that you're not going to send or that you're not going to do this for the family. You're not going to do that. It's going to be a lot for you to have that conversation. And you generally need to sit down and have that conversation if you're looking to marry and or be in something long-term with your significant other. Again, this doesn't necessarily have to just be standard to a foreigner Filipino relationship, foreigner Japanese relationship, whatever. Doesn't necessarily have to be standard, but any relationship you choose to have abroad, especially when it comes from dealing with young ladies that come from a third world setting. That could be I want to say Thailand, that could be Philippines, that could be Vietnam, Cambodia, places like that. But everybody's got their own way of handling things, and I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys got to say. I see we got a couple of you guys in the building. If you have not already, please make sure you drop your like. Y'all know the rules, man. Make sure y'all caress, molest, and distress yourself all over that like button. It wants and it needs and most definitely has to have it. You guys want to support in any capacity because you're feeling like the good dog dropping some knowledge tonight, man. Y'all please feel free to do so. But like I said, I'm happy and blessed y'all choose to come through and spend a little bit of time with the boy today. Now you're in dance. Shout out to my boy SML. What's up with you, pimping? Appreciate you coming through. My man Mike, what's going on with you, bro? SML, $200 is not bad. Forgo buy lunch at $10 a day, 5 times a day, and there it is. Yeah, if you pretty much broke down the budget like that, that would probably definitely hit different points in the budget that you set. For me, I want a lot of us foreigners, I want you guys to look at it as if this is nothing more than assisting, because there's a big difference in supporting and assisting. Maybe my words are a little off, but when you assist somebody, the way that I look at it is you're just giving them a little bit to help them along. You're not necessarily taking care of them. When you assist, you're not supporting. When I hear support, I think you are clearly taking care of the bills. You are clearly taking care of any medical issues, any tuition issues. I mean, you're taking care of it all when I hear the word support. So when you think of the word support over the word assist, I would say how many of you guys are willing to assist the family as opposed to, being able to support it. And for me, I wouldn't shit over it. I wouldn't go crazy over a $200 a month budget, right? It just doesn't seem, if you were going to use that to assist the family, right? It's not too much for you to break the bank over. I think it's fair. But I do believe, like I said, if there's anything that shows up in your life wherein you are no longer able to do that, that could somewhat present issues. Whether that issue is something you care about ain't got nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with how you would choose to handle it, right? If there was for any reason a reason why you couldn't continue giving up that little $200 a month, yeah, gotta be willing to do what you do for that. JX, what's up with you, bro? My man said, I don't know what you heard about me. He said, but you can't get $1 out of me. Shout out to 50 Cent, man. He's definitely an OG. Hey, I understand it. Some guys, like I said, man, a lot of them will look at you like you crazy in the head if you think that I'm gonna sit there and support somebody else's family or support that woman in that regard as well. Again, like I said, everybody's ideology behind it is going to be different. And I'm 100% cool with what you guys got to say. I'm just interested to hear what you guys got to say. So don't forget to drop your like and definitely leave your comment in the chat box for those that catch us at the later date comment section below. All right. He said, when the girl's family is poor or coming from the lower economical status, lower socioeconomic status or strata, it will be expected like that of the girl, the Viet girl or the girl from Vietnam. The family could not provide. So I prefer finding a Filipino whose family does not need me to provide something monthly. Mike, although you raised some of the greatest possible reasons for choosing to date girls that come from educational backgrounds, and you know me, man, I'm all aboard on that. I have to at least take it into consideration that these guys, some of them, not all of them, again, some of you guys are 100% on board with dating educated Filipinas, but there are a chosen few that would rather their girl likely come from a provincial setting. And you guys have to understand, if your girl's coming from the provincial setting, chances are she's not coming with a lot of finances. All right, she's not coming with a lot of backing financially. And I think that's one thing that we have yet to make a video about. Maybe we will touch on it later. Maybe we don't have to, but you know, if you ask a guy whether you would choose a girl that's from like the city area or the province area, about 90% of the gentlemen will say, yo, I want my girl to come from the province. But when you choose to date girls from the province, you have to understand that province doesn't necessarily equate to a woman that is financially able to take care of herself. Now, if you've dealt with a girl that lives in the city but is from the province and she makes her money in the city and takes it back to the province, that's kind of a different structure to an extent. But overall, when you choose to date women that come from a provincial or a mountainous area, the bookies is what we like to call it, you got to understand that doesn't necessarily come with a lot of financial backing. That don't come with a lot of money. All right. And as a result, you could, to an extent, like we talked about before, be put in a situation as the foreigner dating this young lady from this area to be somewhat of a financial assister or financial supporter. All right. You just have to think about these things before you choose to make arrangements in the situations you guys choose to get into. All right. 13 in the building, man. If you guys haven't dropped your like, make sure you do so. He says, in person, I might be willing to help, but sending money in a long distance relationship is a no. That is a great conversation to bring up here as well. Being in person, and I would, and in my thoughts, I am picturing it as you, the foreigner, in a relationship with the girl, nothing long distance. I mean, you are either living with your girl in the Philippines or you bring your girl back to your home country. That's kind of the perspective I'm going on it with. But you do have some gentlemen who may take in the LDR experience as an actual relationship, having not ever met this young lady, and that definitely confuses and makes it a very hard situation to kind of, swallow. Knowing that your girl is not really your girl until you physically make it official, like you're in the same place and you're making things happen, it could definitely be a difficult thing to do. And if you are a man and you've never met your girl, I would probably be the first in line to tell you that I would not recommend you send any money. Now, there is only one caveat to that, and you do it at your own, how can I say this? You do this at your own risk, right? If you want your girl to see some nudies or some shit, okay, maybe a couple dollars, I wouldn't be mad at you for that. But that's not supporting, that's assisting. You understand? So, if you want to send money in an expectation that that would be something you get in return, then that is what it is. But as far as making it an official relationship, I don't see how you could make it official in a long distance setting. I understand that you have the ability to be able to commit yourself to something and say, I don't plan on talking to anybody else but you until we actually get a chance to meet. That's not necessarily making the relationship you're my girlfriend and that's your girl and you're her man, as opposed to saying that you're going to try to concentrate a lot of your energy on the communication that you guys have. It's not necessarily a commitment, it's just your ability to commit to the communication aspect of it. That's kind of the only way that I could see an LDR situation being something that could potentially lead to something more. I hope, at least in your at least for any of my guys who choose to get into an LDR relationship. He said, would you assist someone in the United States? If that is the mindset that you choose to look at it from, chances are you wouldn't, right? So again, like I said, if you're able to look at it from both perspectives, if you were let's say, if you were in a relationship and, you were living in the Philippines, would you assist somebody in the United States as opposed to assisting somebody in the Philippines living in the United States? Again, everybody's mindset is different, but if you ask me that question, I would say absolutely not. I wouldn't, right? That's why the whole long distance relationship thing is always going to be a hot topic, right? Because everybody believes that their relationship is different. Everybody believes their relationship is different, right? And sometimes, hopefully, it is in your particular situation, how you choose to handle things with your young lady. Hopefully, you guys know each other well enough to be able to commit yourself to something like that. But sometimes, you can see the red flags. We just choose to avoid them. You know how it goes. All right. My man Smooth, what's up with you, brother? He says, what's up, man? He says, I say assist a little to the mother and the father only. I like that. Assisting to the mother and the father only. If that's the way that you choose to do it, they could choose to send the money to whoever it is or give the money to whoever it is that they want to, right? So like you said, a little bit of an assist, man. I don't mind throwing an alley-oop every now and again, right? It shouldn't hurt enough. As long as it don't hurt your pockets and hurt your budget on a monthly basis, however you choose to spend your money, you do so, right? And if that means sending a little bit of money to the mother and the father, and they do with it as they please, do that. I just don't think that it is the best of ideas to commit to yourself to sending that money clockwork, like every first of the month, every 15th of the month, or whatever it is, setting it up on a schedule. I'm not a fan of that, because if you do that, then again, there comes this aspect of expectations. I expect my 200 to hit every first of the month regardless, right? You start to get an expectation. So that kind of makes things a little bit, it could complicate things, in my opinion, if you choose to take on that particular, aspect of being an assister of sorts, right? And Jay, you're right, though. You're right, 100%. There are a lot of guys out there that genuinely enjoy these particular types of controls, or the control that they have over these women in reference to how they choose to financially take care of these women. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of guys are they crazy like that, and they think that it is their way of keeping control, but chances are, it can only work for so long, in my opinion. But again, like you said, man, it does feel that way. It's either the control or the perceived control. Exactly. Sometimes they feel like they got it like that, and chances are, who knows what's really going on behind the scenes if they are not there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to, monitor their situation and control over the finances that they, support their Filipina and their Filipinas family with, right? A couple of y'all in the building, man. If you guys haven't already dropped your like, man, please feel free to do so. Don't leave the boy hanging. This is a great conversation. I've been waiting to have this one for a while. Make sure y'all drop that like. Y'all know the rules, man. Caress, molest, and distress yourself all over that like button. Wants it, needs it, most definitely has to have it. You guys want to support, please feel free to do so. But like I said, man, happy and blessed y'all come through. Spend a little bit of time with the boy today. Now you're then business as usual. Maximus, what's up with you, bro? He said, let's get to the real questions. What do you get with this assistance? What are your expectations from your assistants? I mean, I don't know. Everybody's expectations are different. I know that is definitely a question to ask. A lot of guys will assist without wanting anything in return. Now, I want you to understand when we talk about assisting, you are actually in a relationship with the Philippine and you're there. So it has so sex isn't really something that is the major talking point that I'm trying to focus on or anything like that. You are already in a full-fledged relationship with a Filipina. Now, when you come to assisting or sending money every now and again and help out whenever you can, I don't know if you should have an expectation for anything in return. I mean, again, everybody's mindset on assisting and supporting is going to be different, right? So I don't know exactly what the expectation is for being an assistant or being an assistor in this particular situation. It can only be what you are looking to get out of the situation. If you're the type of person to be like, yeah, man, I'll give you this money so you can start you a little ukai or start you up a little sorry store and stuff, I'm going to tell you right now, you should not expect that there's going to be a large ROI. For all of my non-business folk there, you should not have an expectation that you're going to get a return on your investment. All right. You cannot have that expectation. Let's be honest. You can't expect that they're going to give you your money back in droves if you're starting a ukai or, starting a business. Now, again, even when it comes to assisting and supporting, there are some foreigners out there that would put up upfront money to help the family start a little small business, whether they're selling rice or having a sorry store, opening up a ukai, which is just selling of secondhand clothing. I mean, you're gonna have some foreigners that are willing to do that because again, the upfront cost for the most part is not really a lot to break the bank. I think 100,000 pesos would probably be more than sufficient for a lot of these small businesses. I mean, $2,000. Granted, I'm not sitting here acting like $2,000 is a small piece of change because in this world today, 2,000 go a long way, right? But what I can say is there are some foreigners that are willing to do that. If you're looking at it as if you're going to give that money and you're expecting the family to be able to support themselves off of it, I'm not sure exactly what their plan of profit is going to be for a sorry store when you're only making like 25 centavos or like 25 cents between the sales of cigarettes and shit and these small little knick-knack, snacks and shit and, your little fucking Head and Shoulders sachets and shit. You can't sit there and expect that your return on investment is going to be a large one. Right. So to what extent are you hoping that this business is going to support the family and all of that jazz is also something that you need to take into consideration as well. All right. But yeah, let me see. I got to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Smooth. My man Lee. Yeah. Only when needed. If you're the type of person to send money only when it's needed, that's awesome. That works perfect for me. That's every now and again. That's the best way to look at it. I'll hook you up every now and again. Every now and again can be once every 3 months. It can be once every 6 months. Don't matter. I mean, as long as you're not having the expectation on looking at me as the foreigner, as the sole provider of certain situations or the sole supporter of certain situations, I think you can feel a little bit safe in your financial support that you choose to give. But again, like I said, I would consider it more of an assistance than it is a supporter. Because again, when you're assisting, you're just throwing a couple of dollars towards helping in any way that you can. When you're a supporter, you're somewhat looked at as the person that is financially taking care of damn near everything. All right, that's what I want you guys to keep in mind when you think about the difference between being an assisting or an assistor and somebody who's supporting. All right. My man Red, what's up with you, bro? He says, I can't stay, just drop the like. Take care, man. Appreciate you coming through. He says, Doc, has your wife started working yet? Not yet. He said, she's going to be sending some of her loot to her parents. And again, like we've had that conversation before. Again, let's keep it a buck. My young lady's only been in the United States for going on 2 or 3 months now. So, with the paperwork and stuff, everybody is well aware. Everybody who needs to know is well aware that she ain't able to do shit, right? Not right now. Okay, so that's not really a secret or anything that's kept from anybody. It's not something that you got it in your mind the minute you touch down in the United States, you're going to be helping the family out. But again, like I said, she's not working yet. And if she does choose to send some money home, that's not an issue, right? We'll talk about, what works and what don't work. That's just something that you have to be willing to have the conversation with your young lady. I mean, you just have to, whether you're married or in a long-term relationship or not, whether you choose to stay in the Philippines, whether you choose to be in the United States or your or in your own home country. These are conversations you just have to have, right? And sometimes they're hard as fuck, right? You'll have a girl that'll sit there and tell you, "Yo, I'm gonna send half my check home." What? Hold up, baby. You gonna send half your shit home? What about taking care of Mikasa, taking care of the house and stuff? These are conversations you have to have, and incrementally, if you break it down, you'll be able to understand it. And again, this is coming from the perspective of somebody who actually plans to work. What if you are the type of foreigner that brings your young lady to the United States and she sits at home all day and you provide the salary for her? Now, how are we going to divvy up the money? Now, how are we going to talk about sending money home when 100% of the money that's being sent home is 100% of the money that you broke your back and put that labor towards actually making yourself? Right? So when it's your money that's being sent home, right, that's going to probably bring up a whole new dynamic of issues, concerns, and complications. You understand? So whether you choose to bring her here to work or whether you choose her here to bring her to just be a housewife or whatever, it brings up a whole lot of issues and concerns. Again, guys, just depends on you. Right? Give me an uno momento. I got to step away. Got to get some water real quick. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. Let's get back to it. All right. Yes, the young lady not working yet. We got to that one. He said, "What you get is your girl not prodded by the family and might cause the girl to look elsewhere." That's true. And you know, this is something that we must talk about because a lot of people may not look at it this way, but you have to understand something too. There are some Filipinas out there, and there are some women in general. Let me make sure that this is not just generally something that you would connect directly to just Filipino women. But let's keep it real. If they looking for a come up, y'all, you gotta understand. You gotta understand. It don't matter how much money you make. There's always somebody out there that's gonna make more. Right? There's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna kill it. That's gonna make a lot of money. That's gonna, be able to support her in ways that you wish that you could. And if your girl is like that, or the girl that you're looking for is just looking for the next guy that could take care of her and ultimately use that guy to take care of the family so she ain't got to work and do this and do that, then you just have to understand that that's just some shit that's going to happen, right? You have to be very selective in who you choose to be with. 100%. Got to be selective, right? Because again, the family will put a lot of pressure on the young lady to produce. You understand? The parents will put a lot, and I mean a lot of pressure on that young lady to produce. What do I mean by produce? Send me some money, god dang it. I birthed you. I raised you this long. I took care of you until this foreigner came in, took you away. We're not in the elder years where we used to pay dowries and fucking chop up I'm sorry, not monkeys, but cows and shit. goats and stuff. We ain't in that era anymore, right? Paying the dowry now comes in the form of what? Long-term monthly expenses of adding the family to what I would call your payroll, right? Let's keep it honest, man. Putting the Filipino family on the payroll or your young lady's family on the payroll. All right. So these are just things you got to think about, man. All right. Shout out to my man Floyd Aaron. What's up with you, bro? He says the parents are one thing since they don't have a retirement plan. The siblings are a whole different story. Oh, yeah. I would never send money to nobody's siblings. It depends on, like, if it's like for furthering education, I probably wouldn't mind helping out to send somebody to school, right? That seems plausible. That seems like a logical way to do it. But then again, the way that I would do it is I would be in contact with the school and I will call the school, tell the school, yo, how much is the tuition of so and so? How much do they owe on their tuition? And then I will pay directly to the school, get a receipt and all that stuff. Right? I wouldn't try to pass money through the hands of others in order for them to be able to say, well, we were going to use it to pay off little Sally's fucking tuition, but so-and-so needed some medicine, so we couldn't do it. Right? So these are the situations that could potentially come up. Right? So you just got to be careful with how you choose to navigate your way around the idea of sending money of any kind. All right. He says, true, Doc. He said, assist without any expectations of return. Oh, yeah, man. If you're looking for an ROI, sir, you're sadly mistaken. You cannot look for something in return on that, right? You just can't look for something in return. And I would think, honestly, I would think that you would probably only agree to send money to the family, the head of the household, right? The mother or the father. Now, again, like I said, what they choose to do with that money is something that you do not have control over. You sent that money to assist, right? Just to put a couple of dollars in a couple of hands whenever they need it for it, right? So you can't really dictate how that money is spent. The only way you would be able to dictate it is if you actually were there and you actually were able to take care of the things as necessary. But, sometimes that's not going to always be the case. My man Maximus said 2K is a share of Google. If you're thinking from the investor standpoint, yes, 2K is definitely one share of Google stock. Maybe just a shy bit less than that. When you marry a Filipino, you marry the whole family. That's always been a talking point. Break open the wallets. He said, y'all acting brand new. It ain't brand new, man. But then again, like I said, everybody's perspective is going to be different. That's the truth. All right. He said Doc is being scolded on the side that he needs to send money to her parents because it has been 3 months since she's been in the United States. Ain't nobody scolded me for shit. I'm broke. Y'all know better than that. Nah, we don't do Western Union, man. No Western Unions over here. World Remit. If we send anything, it's World Remit. Oh, man. I had a talk with my wife about not trying to take care of her siblings. It was hard for her, but she understood when I let her carry the mortgage and other bills for 1 month. Lee, that's the only way it works, my brother. I believe that's the only way that things will be set in reality. If you give them a bill and or a responsibility, if they work and they make their own money and you say, look, I got everything else, you take care of A and B. Once they take care of A and B and they realize, shit, man, I only got $100 left after taking care of that, or I only got like $500 left to take care of that. Now they have to debate, do I want this $500 to last me for the rest of the month so I can take care of me and the things that I want to do for fun? Because again, you're taking care of everything else. They got their 2 little bills and, basically you're taking care of everything else. Or do I want to send that 500 or 200 of that home to my parents every month and I'm left with 3? Because when that math start to add up and when that math don't necessarily add up, y'all know what's going to happen. People are going to start to realize, yo, man, this American dream that people were talking about is not exactly what it was before. When you realize that going to McDonald's and shit like that is not the same price as it is in the Philippines, or going to a place like KFC and stuff, and you start to realize inflation is a real fucking thing and the money don't go as long as you thought it did, then all of a sudden people start making more rational decisions, right? They have to be rooted in reality. They have to be rooted in reality. You got to show them, yo, it's not that easy, right? My young lady knows, man. It didn't take long for her to know that real quick. Like we went to a couple of places. She was like, damn, that's how much it costs for this, right? And if you compare it to, living in the Philippines, you start to realize, damn, that shit crazy, right? So she was well aware from Jump Street, things are hella expensive here. And she knew that even before she came. But I'm just saying, if your girl doesn't know anything like that or anything about it, you're gonna have to teach that lesson, and sometimes that lesson gonna hit a little bit harder that people ain't ready for it. You feel me? So we got 15 in the building. If you haven't dropped your like, Doc would highly appreciate that. Get your likes in. I would appreciate it. All right. He said, well, foreigners need to stop lying and promising the world. Some of the living condition of foreigners living in the Philippines is horrible, and they have girlfriends. I have nothing to say to that, because if you lie to your girl to get her, I can't help. I'm just kidding. What's going on, man? Doc, he says, dropping truth bombs right here. Reality check. If y'all up on a Filipino like that, you're gonna be dropping dough for the family in the Philippines. Period. You have to understand it's gonna be hard, right? It's gonna be hard to avoid that. 100%. Depending on your relationship and all that stuff, it could be a little bit different, right? My situation, like I said, man, my situation is a little bit different than everybody else's, all right? Like the wife says, man, we ain't got money. We got bills to pay. We got shit to do, right? And because of that, ain't nobody sending no money home, right? Everybody's got to do for themselves that they've been doing before I came in the picture. And that's kind of how you guys got to think about it, man. You got to think, if you were not in the picture, right? If you were not providing that money, how the fuck else was they going to get that money if it won't coming from you? Either it'd be some other sad sucker, or they would just have to get along to get along. You feel me? They would just have to make it work. So I don't never want any foreigner to feel as though they have to be the captain, save them all and shit. And we've had that conversation too. You don't have to come into the situation thinking that, oh my God, if I don't help them, who's going to help them? And sometimes they will guilt trip the shit out of you. I can't tell you how many text messages I got a long time ago. Oh my God, we can't pay our electric bill. We can't pay this. We can't pay that. What are we going to do? Everybody's gotten them text messages before. Y'all know what it is. Don't play like y'all brand new. But the thing is, you have to put it in your mind what you can and what you can't do, what you are willing to do and what you aren't willing to do. And once you figure out that fine line of whether you want to help or not, again, first you got to answer that question. Do you want to do it? Do you not want to do it? First. Second of all, if I'm going to do it, if the answer is yes, what amount works for me? $100, give you $50, here a couple thousand pesos, man. Knock yourself out. Go take the family to Jollibee or some shit. What? You have to figure out what works best for you if you're going to commit to that. A lot of people ain't willing to do it. And if they ain't got to do it, they ain't got to do it. There you go. How did they survive without you? 100%. How did they survive without you? Because trust me, you'll start to realize real soon, bruh, they may claim they need you, and in reality, it's more or less like, give me a second, yo. It's more or less like, yo, you are the foreigner in the picture right now. And I don't know how many of y'all feel an obligation. You shouldn't at all. But again, these are the questions you got to ask. They survived without me up to this point. So they should be able to get along without me, whether I'm there or not. Whether I'm in the picture or not. He said, if you decide to live in the Philippines, there will be no need to send money. The family will be living with you. That's funny. And somewhat not surprising. There's always a wing on the house for the family. That could be the truth for some. Joseph, 100%. That guitar was not cheap, sir. Like I said, the guitar was not a cheap one. We got the good shit. I think I told y'all how much I paid for it. If I didn't, y'all know what it is now. I'm thinking about $150 or some shit. And that wasn't the most expensive that it could be. But again, I bought that because my young lady liked to play the guitar. The one she had in the Philippines, she couldn't bring with her. It was too much to have to lug around, be responsible, care for, put a fragile sticker on so people ain't throwing her shit like it's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather say, you know what, you couldn't bring the one that you had with you there. So, I'll get you one. It's because she plays beautiful music. She just refuses to play some so that I could put it on YouTube, and that pisses me off. I've been begging her. I'm like, yo, man, you think the people want to hear you play, boo? They want to hear it. They want to hear what all this is worth or what it's about. But we'll figure that out later on. I'll try to like sneak a video of her playing without her knowing or some shit. Figure it out. But it is what it is. It ain't even got to be YouTube worthy, man. She over here making excuses. I mean, motherfucker, you can sing and you can play the guitar. Two things I can't do. Oh, I was fucking. I was fucking with her yesterday. Hey, where that Harry Styles video at? Hey, bring that video over here. I want them to hear it. See, anyways, let me get back to business. She fucking with me. Anyways, she can sing. It depends on what song you sing it. You know, we ain't gonna throw no Whitney Houston on like this is some karaoke or some shit, but you get the point. Derek, you say that you don't sin. She got a job and she'll do it her damn self. Hey, I feel like everybody's got to have boundaries. And if that's the boundary, hey, you gotta make it happen the way and make it happen. My man said $200 a month a hurt, man. He said that's some good investing money. I agree. Like I said, 200 may not be a lot for some, but somebody like me and somebody who knows what that 200 could be used for definitely perceives that 200 a little bit differently. But I will have to talk about this now because we haven't talked about it from this perspective. Again, I'm not telling you guys anything brand new that you haven't heard before, but I do believe you're definitely going to find that a lot of my older retired foreigners are far more generous than somebody like my young black ass. Okay? The older retired gentlemen are far more generous when it comes to giving money than somebody like me, the young cats. And I'm not saying that you're old. I'm just saying my old retiree gentlemen, the ones that get that standard pension check, maybe got their little social security on the side or your SSDI or whatever it is. I don't know. You guys are probably far more generous with your money than somebody like myself, right? I got a lot to build on. I got a lot to build for, right? But for those that have built and retired and they got this pension and it's a lot, again, $200 ain't going to kill you, right? $200 is not going to hurt your pocket when you getting $5,000 between the Social Security and your Army or your, military retirement. Salute to all my veterans out there. Y'all know what it is. But when you're getting that type of money, I can't expect $200 to be hurting your pockets. I can't sit there and be like, oh my God, it's $200. Motherfucker, that's just 10 grand in there. That little 10,000 pesos ain't gonna hurt nobody. But somebody like myself and like my man CJ, 200 may hit a little bit different for somebody like us. Believe that one. But this is what we do, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 17 of y'all in the building, man. Hope y'all are locked in. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you are enjoying the show, man, y'all make sure y'all drop that like. Doc would highly, highly, highly appreciate that. All right. If you guys want to support in any capacity, please feel free to do so. Like I said, man, happy and blessed y'all choose to come through, spend a little bit of time with your boy today. Now you're in den. And should you be an older expat type of individual and you choose to marry a Filipina and bring her back to the United States, the same rules still apply. Chances are you're not going to put your girl to work, right? Chances are, and I remember distinctly, one of my brothers, he talked about this. I don't know if it was in a chat or if it was a personal conversation, but I remember one gentleman talking about, look, man, I'm very close to retirement, and financially, what works best for me is to just basically pay my wife a salary or give her, an allowance every month, as opposed to her going out there and getting a job and doing this where she's probably not making that much money. Then there's not a lot of time for us to be able to get together and stuff like that. And he was making some extremely valid points. But again, that only comes from people who have higher income than your average, right? But again, mindset too. Not always about just the income, but the mindset. Look, I want my wife to stay at home. Me personally, wifey gonna get out there and get a job with the homie. Feel me, right? We're building something together. We're building something special, and I want her to have a hand in that building, right? That's one thing that I want to make sure that she's aware of. I want her to be a participant in what we're trying to build. Because again, I feel as though that's what's going to set some level of importance in the relationship, right? You got to make sure she feels like she's a part of what's being built. Yeah, I'm bringing this in and I'm bringing this in and we're bringing it in together and we're killing it. We smashing it. You know, wifey cooks and takes care of the boy, make sure you got food and all the time. You know, she does her part, right? But, you know, even outside the house, you know, you just got to make sure that everybody participates. But at some point, there's going to be a point in time where, you know, you would rather have your girl, or some gentlemen are going to be like, I'd rather just have my girl sit at home. I'd rather just have her spend time with me. I don't need her to go to work. I make enough money for all of us. I don't need her to do shit. Mindset, ladies and gentlemen, your mindset. Me, my lady's going to work just like me. A lot of gentlemen who are older than me, like I said, already got that money in place. They don't need their Filipino to work because they already been there, done that. They just want a relationship, you know? But it goes different for different strokes for different folks. Y'all know what it is. He said, yeah, she better get on OnlyFans and make them cheeks clap for them pesos. Hey, man, you know what's even simpler? Hey, have her take some feet pics, man. I don't know what it is. Cause y'all tell me how people be paying $500, $300 for feet pics. I told my girl, I said, shit, if somebody asked you to do that, I would actually approve of it. I said, if a dude just said, I told her this shit yesterday, we were having a funny, but I was like, yo, if somebody just asked for you to send pictures of your feet and shit, I said, how can I be mad at that? If they gonna pay you like a couple $100, like $500, $1,000 for some feet pics and videos and shit, I'm like, that shit's a real fetish out here. And I didn't know. Doc didn't know. Right, so rather than her clapping cheeks on OnlyFans, if she want to do some feet shit, I'm like, well, I can't really be mad at that if you want to, especially if these creepos are gonna pay that much money to see some damn feet. Hey, I figured it won't that bad, but you know, everybody, like I said, different strokes for different folks, man. He said, I'll move to a gated community and take 1,000 pesos a month and give them guards to keep the family out. True. And they will keep that family out. They won't let nobody behind that gate. Hey, it don't take much in the Philippines to keep your family safe. Shout out to my man, Big Brother, man. It's been a minute, bro. Give me a second. Let me drink this drink. A little parched this shit. Tasty. He said, people give money to strangers out of pity and charity. There is no way your Filipino would live in abject poverty and not help. So maybe make sure you are dating a girl that works. But even then, who knows? True. But the thing is, if your girl is just, let's say, how can I say this? If your girl is just earning like a meager Philippine salary, like 10,000 pesos a month, some shit like that, that ain't enough 99.9% of the time. So, you know, there is definitely other key variables that need to be included in a situation like that. That's what. True. And like my young lady said, and this goes back to even what was happening with, you know, the Vietnamese young lady. It's never going to be enough, like 10,000 or anything like that. It doesn't matter damn near what amount you make. If your family or your parents are taking half of it, you're still only left with half a check. That's like you went on the lottery in fucking California, and California take half that shit. You win $1 million, but you only get to keep 500,000 of it, right? So again, like if somebody's taking half your check, you have to learn to work with what you have. And in Filipino families, and most Asian families probably, if you are becoming a breadwinner or you are making money that, you know, is coming to the household and you still living at home, even if you're not still living at home, they'll still try to find a way to get a cut of your check. So you definitely have to keep that into consideration as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's hard out here for PM, right? It's just hard. And, it sucks that most Asian families put that type of pressure on their kids. I have seen it time and time again. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have been exposed to it as well, wherein the family kind of guilt trips them into giving money, guilt trip them into taking care of their sibling, guilt trip them into buying the medicine, guilt trip them into paying bills, guilt trip them into everything. Trust me, I have seen it firsthand. So I'm not oblivious to what goes on, and I'm damn sure not sitting here acting as if it's not going to happen, or, depending on who you with and all this stuff, that it couldn't potentially be an issue that comes up later on. Right? Just have to definitely look at your situation and look at who you're dating, look at who you're trying to be with, and figure it out. All right. Oh yeah, man. If I could be a foot pimp, Chester, I would, man. Y'all think I'm playing? Look, if somebody said, "Yo, man, send me some feet pics," I see you $200. I said, "Fuck, send them some feet pics, man. Fuck, maybe into that freaky shit." Look, I don't see the harm in that. I don't see the harm in that. Now, get naked on OnlyFans and all that shit. That's a whole different story. And if y'all game with you letting your women do that shit, hey, I can't stand in your way. But god damn it, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Them feet pics, do that shit all day. I said, shit, you probably make more money than I do. I told her straight up. I said, girl, you gonna bring in more money than I do with them damn feet pics. That shit bring in some money. I did not know that was a thing, y'all. I swear to God, I did not know. Like, people would pay that type of money just to lick somebody else's feet. It's just the weirdest thing. He said, when you take a girl, she might be the family breadwinner. So until she can make her own money, you will have to step in that role. Again, it is hard, but if you can, be careful from the start. Yeah, you have to look into every situation and understand exactly what's going on to help yourself. I appreciate you thinking I'm handsome. Thank you very much. Some countries don't have social security or welfare and things like that. So family is the social welfare. That's true. Sometimes, like the young lady said in the video, sometimes you are your family's retirement plan. I think one of my brothers said that earlier on in the chat as well. I read it, and you do get credit for saying that as well. But yeah, sometimes the kids are the retirement plan, right? They don't have access to that stuff, right? So you are the retirement plan. You make it, we all make it. You feel me? That is exactly how it goes. If you make it, we all make it. And somebody mentioned something in the chat, not the chat, but the comment section. I know who it was, but I gotta read it. But somebody mentioned even the idea of, you hear about athletes. athletes. My English be all fucked up sometimes. Athletes. The professional basketball players, baseball players, stuff like that. You hear about them going broke, right? A lot of people don't take into consideration, nor do they mention that a lot of the reasons why these people go broke is because of the family that are leeching off of them. Oh my God, you just got this $100 million contract. We're going to live it up, right? It ain't, I'm going to live it up. It's a we thing. It's not a me thing anymore. And people start to make you feel as though, you are responsible for taking care of everybody because you are the one making this larger than life salary. And some guys bring in, and if you're starting a business or you are an athlete, you start to help out the neighborhood of sorts, and you start bringing in people from where you grew up to take care of your finances, to take care of your management. It just starts to become a whole situation. And then what? You back to broke, right? Because people will bring you down, man. And the same rules apply with these Philippine families and these families, some Asian families abroad. It is a sad fact, but it's just something we got to deal with, and something that we have to take into consideration. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to leave you on that note, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this particular live stream. Doc's a little, I hear something, I feel something, I definitely feel like I got to say something. And I appreciate all of y'all coming through tonight. We topped out at about, 27, 28, almost 30 of you guys in the building, man. So I appreciate y'all spending even a little bit of time with the good doc. Because, again, y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to come here and kick it with the good doc. All right. So again, let me shout out to all my people, my kinfolk and my skinfolk. Because I feel like I owe y'all that one. To all of my silent partners, y'all know who y'all are. The people that sit in the background just listening. Y'all are supporting me in ways that you will never know. Right? Y'all help the algorithm in ways people will never know. I have absolutely no idea what you guys are doing in the background. It's probably none of my business. But again, I appreciate y'all sitting here, listening, tuning in. Right? You don't have to say anything. You are doing enough. Right? To all of my people who show up in the chat box, the ones that keep me on my toes, the ones that keep me active and keep asking these questions that allow me to further enhance my thought process on a particular topic or subject. Thank you guys, because again, my channel wouldn't be anything without those that choose to rock with the doc the way that they do. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun. It has been real, but you know what time it is. It's time for the good doc to go and get to getting. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, good doc is officially out. At least nako paalam, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita. Mabuhay. Peace.